India is expanding. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi in the last 11 years, the respect that India has, the footprint of India has expanded so much. The elephant now is moving. And when the elephant moves, there is much momentum. If the state governments, if the district administrations also adopt this technology, they learn something from Kanha Shanti Vanam and what Daaji is doing, it will revolutionize the lives of common Indian villagers. 550,000 villages are waiting for Daaji's message. Imagine the scope. It's 18% of the human species on planet Earth. This is how much work you have before you. That's why you have to train the trainers and send them quickly to these villages. Make them meditate. Prime Minister Modi and Daaji's message, their works can go in tandem. Since wars begin in the minds of men, hence defenses of peace must be constructed in the minds of men. So UNESCO's mission is that of peace, Shanti. We achieve peace through education. A place where people of high ethics is politics. Today the meaning has been reversed, but the original meaning is that. And that is why we need a new generation of ethical people to take the lead and come in politics. Kanha Shanti Vanam is an exercise in service of humanity. It's not just meditation. This is the example that will help create Abhinav Bharat, or a new India.
Your Excellency, thank you so much.
Namaste.
It's an absolute joy to have you at Kanha Shanti Vanam and taking out time to come to the studio. Thank you so much. It's a real honor to have you here. And I wanted to ask you, what's your experience been like so far of this campus?
See, I'm here in Hyderabad. I have for my official work, and I visited, because I landed on a Sunday, I took the initiative and traveled to Mulugu district, where the World Heritage Monument is there, the Rudreshwara Ramappa temple, that was made by financed by Rachel Rudra, the Kakatiya general, but made by Ramappa the sculptor in 1163.
Wow.
So for 862 years it has stood. It's a World Heritage Monument. 4 hours going, 4 hours coming. But the pleasure when you see the Shivalinga that has been standing there for nearly 900 years, you bow down in reverence. That is the glory of Indian culture. After coming from there, when you visit Kanha Shanti Vanam, you see that the bhav is the same. To create something that is in line with Indian culture and the Indian philosophy, Indian way of life, how we live in harmony with nature. One is a World Heritage Monument of 900 years antiquity. The other is a monument of humanity. So I think Kanha is a monument in service of humanity.
How beautiful, how beautifully put. And you've also seen the various initiatives going on here. Was there something in particular that caught your attention?
You see, one of the things that the team at Kanha Shanti Vanam is doing, rainwater harvesting. They are using their own water. Solar panels. In fact, they are supplying electricity to the state electricity grid as well. And there are no mosquitoes. I didn't see any mosquitoes in Kanha, and I found out what is the secret. They said they have a carbon dioxide emitting machine that attracts mosquitoes and traps them. Now, in India, in various districts of India, there are so many mosquitoes because we are a tropical country.
Absolutely.
Now, if the state governments, if the district administrations also adopt this technology, they learn something from Kanha Shanti Vanam and what Daaji is doing, it will revolutionize the lives of common Indian villagers. There are 550,000 villages in India. And it is not a very expensive technology. And if it's mass-produced, the production cost can reduce even more. It will rid India of its mosquitoes, of mosquito-causing diseases.
Absolutely.
So I think there is a lot that can be learned from the experiments that are being conducted in Kanha. If rainwater harvesting has been there, and Kanha Shanti Vanam has a tropical rainforest which has been possible only because of the rainwater harvesting in a water deficient area.
It's the driest district.
And the driest district. So why can't other districts of India, why can't the young IS officers, the young IPS officers come to Kanha and learn? Why can't the municipal commissioners of all the commissionerates in India and their additional secretaries, joint secretaries, they all come to Kanha Shanti Vanam and see what things that Daaji and his team have been doing. And that's why, when you asked me how did I feel, and I related it with the Ramappa temple I visited, I said, Kanha Shanti Vanam is an exercise in service of humanity. It's not just meditation, but how the infrastructure has been made, how small things have been taken care of. So it is an example, and this is the example that will help create Abhinav Bharat, or a new India.
Absolutely. And that is our hope. And with Daaji's guidance and leadership, that is the direction which we hope Kanha can take. And as you mentioned, this is the driest district in Telangana, and we have rainforests here. But also, apart from the environmental initiatives, there are lots of educational initiatives as well. Brighter Minds is one that you have been exposed to. What was your experience of that like?
I think that is phenomenal. It explores the intuitive powers that are latent in every human being and how these powers can be developed, especially in children. I think these techniques are the techniques of ancient Indian wisdom. And when you are increasing and training young minds to tap into the intuitive power of the human brain, you're exploring things that the leading universities in the world have not explored. Why? Because they are not in India. Why? Because they are not in Hyderabad. Why? Because they are not in Kanha Shanti Vanam. Now, there are about 1.5 million schools in India, 45,473 colleges, 1,100 university-level institutions, 10 million teachers. India is the largest democratic educational ecosystem on this planet. Now, if this Brighter Minds program is adopted by every education ministry of every state and by the Central Education Ministry for the CBSE board, ICSE board, the state education boards, I think it will help students explore the intuitive power, which is, as I mentioned earlier, is latent in the human brain. It will help children focus more in studies, help them in their lives, make their lives more disciplined. And once again, I think Daaji and his team is doing something that is priceless. You cannot attach a price to it because it is in service of humanity. So I congratulate everybody, the teachers out here, the correspondents of the CBSE, the students, the parents, the volunteers. You're doing great work, and everything is not measured in money. Everything is not measured in the sound of claps that one receives. But you just meditate and you feel the peace in the mind. I think that is your prize.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, at the heart of all these is heartfulness meditation. At the heart of all these initiatives, at the heart of behind all that Kanha is doing is heartfulness meditation. And you have had a chance to experience heartfulness meditation. What has that been like for you?
You see, in the chaos of life, in the hustle bustle of life, what do? What heartfulness trains you is that you just have to sit down, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and listen to the voice of silence. And if you listen to the voice of silence, you will realize it is the loudest voice. And that voice is not heard with your eyes open. You can only hear it when your eyes are closed and the sound of your breathing is all that is to hear. And in that meditational state, you will obviously be peaceful. And as you, I hope, I've just started on and off meditation. So you keep on practicing it, and it'll help you calm your mind, help you reduce your cortisol level or stress levels, and give you a better quality of life. I think Daaji is not reinventing the wheel. His role is that of Jambavan, who's telling all the Hanumans what their potential is. And meditation is something which is integral to Indian cultural heritage. Every small child of India who's ever read a Amar Chitra Katha or listened to a story from his grandmother or mother, it's almost in India. Meditation is part of our life. So, Heartfulness and Daaji, they're just reminding Indians what their ancestors have been doing. And this is what I again say, it's a great service to humanity.
Absolutely. You've also had meetings with Daaji. You've met Daaji, and we all were privy to that wonderful interaction you had online on the Gita. And it was really wonderful, your interaction with him. What are your impressions of Daaji?
Well, I am not qualified to comment on someone who's made such a wonderful monument in the service of humanity. A lamp cannot comment on the sun. There is no comment. Similarly, a drop of water cannot comment on the ocean. Now, one can only tell him thank you for what he's doing. And the quality of lives that have been touched, that is all gratitude that people have. I have been invited here as a guest, so I have gratitude in my heart. I have been seeing so many people, interacting with a lot of people. There have been Indians, there are foreigners, and some of them have told me they are working here as volunteers, and they do it free of cost. So they are giving their mind, body, and soul for this work. So, and it has all been possible because of Daaji. So what I think about him is a lamp cannot really comment on the sun because the sun is shining in its own glory. And he's touching so many lives. He's guiding so many people. So that is God's work. And I'm very grateful that I have been, the people associated with him, people like Ekta Budarli, Mr. Ram Krishna Malela, and others who have come to Paris, who came to UNESCO. Claire Bigon from Belgium, she also helped organize the Yoga for Unity program in UNESCO. And it all happened because of the impetus that has been given by Daaji. So he's doing great work, and he's one of the assets of India because he's received the Padma Bhushan, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You mentioned, Your Excellency, you are ambassador to UNESCO, ambassador of India to UNESCO, and you mentioned just now UNESCO and Heartfulness have been collaborating over events on yoga and things like that. Do you see a shared vision going forward? What the two organizations, what work they can do together?
You see, UNESCO's full name is the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It was formed after the devastation of World War II. And one of the founding principles of UNESCO is, since wars begin in the minds of men, hence defenses of peace must be constructed in the minds of men. So UNESCO's mission is that of peace, Shanti. And we achieve peace through education. So UNESCO is, the E of UNESCO stands for education. Education is the sector that has the largest budgetary allocation. You have the IBE, which is the Institute of UNESCO, the International Bureau of Education, that helps sets curriculum for various countries of the Global South. Then you have the culture sector, that has various conventions. The 1954 Convention for Armed Conflict, which means if there is an armed conflict, you do not hit your missiles and bombs on cultural monuments. You have the 1970 Convention of Return of Cultural Property, that if a cultural property is being smuggled, you have to stop it. If it's being sold illegally, it has to be stopped and returned back. You have the ICPRCP, the Intergovernmental Committee for promoting the return of cultural property to its country of origin or restitution in case of illegal appropriation. So when the 2,500-year-old relics of the Piprava relics of the historical Buddha was being auctioned in Hong Kong, we stepped in. My mission in Paris stepped in, and we worked with UNESCO to issue a stop notice to that auction house and allowed the government of India to, get it back to India. Similarly, you have the 1972 convention, which protects World Heritage Monuments. You have the 2003 convention for intangible cultural heritage, like practices, rituals, festivals, and we nominated Diwali on the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. So this is what UNESCO does. Heartfulness is an institute that is in line because it is helping building the lives of people. So UNESCO's mandate is also youth, and Heartfulness works with a lot of youth. UNESCO's mandate is also social and human sciences, which is gender equality, and you see women working shoulder to shoulder with men in Heartfulness. You have the issue about culture, so the intangible aspect of it, and Heartfulness is also promoting Indian philosophy. There are so many cultural aspects to Heartfulness. Even, in fact, the meditation is part of the intangible cultural heritage. We are also organized, in addition to the Yoga for Unity program that we organize, we are also helping Heartfulness train, the trainers come to UNESCO premises in Paris at least once a week and offer this meditation to diplomats of 150 plus countries on a free of cost basis. They can come and they can experience this meditation so that the whole world can get to experience the benefits. So Heartfulness and UNESCO can work closely, even in the education sector. I think Mr. Ramakrishna Malela, he has gone and met a lot of UNESCO officials and trying to promote various aspects in the education field. You have the Heartfulness trainers who are coming in. Similarly, we can also have collaboration between UNESCO and Heartfulness in the field of social and human sciences, which I just mentioned, and how to wean the youth, not just the children, but especially the youth, away from mental stress and into a disciplined life. I think Heartfulness has a lot to offer.
Absolutely. And as they say in Hindi, aapke muh mein ghee shakkar, may this partnership carry on bringing peace to hearts all over the world, especially the young hearts all over the world. In that talk that you had with Daaji on the Gita, you mentioned that most people get up in the morning and have a cup of tea or coffee, but a diplomat has to drink his glass of frustration. So how much do you think a role meditation can have in a diplomat's life handling that glass of frustration?
Well, a diplomat lives away from his country and is the country's first soldier outside the country. Whatever is your unhappiness, you keep it to yourself and always have a smile on your face. You have to defend the interests of your country. Now, the life of a diplomat is not, when I was not a diplomat, you saw diplomacy from a different aspect. You read about it in books. However, when I became a diplomat, the respect for diplomats increased in my heart. What the families of diplomats experience. And this is cutting across the board. It's not just Indian diplomats. Diplomats all over the world. In fact, there are French diplomats, they have told me their life stories, Romanian diplomats, German diplomats, Japanese diplomats. It's a life away from your motherland. Every 3 or 4 years they get transferred, or 5 years they get transferred. Their children have to change their friends again and again and again. You go to a different country, different language. So I have a lot of respect. The sacrifice, because of the sacrifices made by the families of diplomats, the sacrifices made by their children. In all of this, my respect is there much higher for Indian diplomats. Because, as India is expanding under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi in the last 11 years, the respect that India has, the footprint of India has expanded so much. The elephant now is moving. And when the elephant moves, there is much momentum. So there is a lot of load on Indian diplomats, lot of work. And how the Indian missions come together, they work. It's amazing. Now, in this course of life, as the elephant is moving, there's a lot of momentum. So you have to clear up some weeds also. And there is a lot of work, there's a lot of work pressure, there's a lot of stress. If you're organizing such event, for example, last year we organized the World Heritage Committee meeting in India for the first time in 50 years.
Wow.
And India was the president. In fact, by God's grace, they accepted me as the president of the World Heritage Committee. It was a great honor for my country, great honor for me personally. And this honor has humbled me, that this is what India... Every time I raise my country's flag, it fills my heart with great pride, because I'm so lucky to represent a country like India. And I've been saying, we had the General Conference of UNESCO in Uzbekistan, and I began the national statement by saying, I come from Bharat, also known as India, the land of religions, land of philosophy, the land of quantum computing, of 8,000 years of culture, 1.45 billion people, 1,600 languages and dialects. India is an ocean of humanity. And so when you represent this ocean, you have a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely.
And that's why there are times when you feel frustrated and you have to drink your frustration with your orange juice because you cannot express your emotions. If you're exhibiting your emotions, then you're not a diplomat. You have to exercise diplomacy. And how do you deal with it then is your question. So you look at times people take some anti-stress medicines. Some people go for a jog. Some people, they go for a smoke. Some people drink alcohol. Now, as Indians, for us, we go in yoga, we sit down. And when we sit down, practices like heartfulness, the meditation helps a lot. Especially when we are 8,000 kilometers away from the motherland and we have volunteers of heartfulness come and say, no, we will come to you. So when you are thirsty in life, you have to go to the well. But in spiritual life, the well comes to you. All you have to do is be a receptor and sit down, close your eyes, and hear yourself breathe. And when you hear yourself breathe, you can handle the frustration well, because the cup of frustration is not a sweet cup.
Of course, I'm sure it is.
It's more bitter than Karela, like Karela juice.
Yes.
So heartfulness gives you the strength, and the meditation helps you. It helps you discipline yourself.
Absolutely.
You can't reinvent the wheel. You can't change how the world is. You have to face it. Now, if there are some support systems, all the more better. And that's why I think Daaji and his team, Daaji cannot be everywhere. Kanha Vanam cannot be everywhere. But his volunteers can be everywhere. And this is where I feel people like Ekta Budarlik are doing excellent work. How they have reached out. Had Ekta not reached out, taken the initiative to reach out, I wouldn't be sitting here with you in Kanha Shanti Vanam and speaking with you. Imagine how she's brought people together.
Absolutely. It's amazing how certain small actions, which we may think are small, have such repercussions. And no one knows that better than you, being the ambassador to UNESCO. And similarly, Ekta Ben's reaching out. It may appear as a small action, but what it sets in motion is something very large and something that has repercussions for so many people way down the line. Your Excellency, if you'd permit me, if I could ask you personally, when did diplomacy appear on the horizon? Was it something you wanted to be as a child, or were there other ambitions?
Well, that's a whole life story. So I was working with, many. When I was a young man, I had got an opportunity to work in Gujarat. At that point in time, Prime Minister Modi had become the chief minister for the first time. And because I was into technology, he had, offered me, why don't you come out to Gujarat? So I started working with him. And then, at a very young age. So it exposed me to his work culture.
Mm-hmm.
And what a work culture he has.
Yes, we've all heard stories about it.
It's like 24/7 and focused.
Hardly any sleep.
Well, he's somewhat of a yogi. But the focus on details. And one thing that is there is nishtha. Do things with a clean heart. Even if then you do a mistake, no problem. But do things with a clean heart, with the right intention. So before this, I was also on the governing board of SPIPA, which is Sardar Patel Institute of Public Administration, for 9 years. That trains state-level bureaucrats on good governance. So, and thereafter, when he became the Prime Minister, the government of India launched the Ujjwala Yojana. So I was made a director on the board of Bharat Petroleum. I was the youngest director in 70-year history. And the Bharat Petroleum is a multinational company of India, one of the biggest. It has more than $50 billion annual turnover. And Ujjwala Yojana brought gas cylinders to 100 million households, 10 crore households. So I visited some of those villages. And I saw that how it has changed the lives of common village women. Food used to take about 3 hours for lunch and 3 hours for dinner to cook, because the caloric value of wood is much lower than the caloric value of gas. Just the conversion from wood to gas. I asked them, now how long does it take for you to cook? They said, half an hour lunch, half an hour dinner.
Wow.
So 1 hour is being consumed now and 6 hours before. So 6 minus 1 is 5 hours a day saved, 150 hours a month, 1,800 hours per year per woman saved. Multiply that by 100 million households, which means it has transformed the lives of 100 million women. This is the largest liberation of women after World War II, and it has converted India into one of the largest importers of LNG gas. And the women have more free time, which means the children coming out of these lowest of the lower strata. Not everybody in the village is poor. So those who were still cooking on wood, they belong to the lowest of the lower strata.
Yes.
Children coming out of there now will be more healthy because their mothers have more free time, better personal hygiene.
Absolutely.
Will be better educated because their mothers have more free time. So if you want to transform a society, focus on the women. This is the secret that Prime Minister Modi has done. It has been a revolutionary, just the Ujjwala Yojana. It has transformed the lives of village women. And now because they have more free time and through mudra loans, they can take these, they become entrepreneurs. They can start self-help groups and it is transforming. Now if Heartfulness steps out of the comfort, the beauty of the heaven of Kanha Shanti Vanam and reaches out to these villages. 550,000 villages are waiting for Daaji's message. 550,000 villages. Imagine the scope. It's 18% of the human species on planet Earth. This is how much work you have before you. That's why you have to train the trainers and send them quickly to these villages. Make them meditate. Prime Minister Modi and Daaji's message, their works can go in tandem. We inscribed Diwali on the intangible cultural heritage list. What is Diwali? We were hearing in the media about some activists a couple of years back. They had filed a petition in the courts that to ban certain crackers on Diwali because their dogs would get scared. Kutte dar jate the. So they connected Diwali crackers with the fear of dogs. Then some people would say it's air pollution. So noise pollution and air pollution. I told UNESCO, do you know what Diwali means? It's not just the festival of lights. Diwali signifies the return of Lord Rama to Ayodhya. For what purpose? for establishing Ram Rajya. And what is Ram Rajya if not good governance?
Absolutely.
You ask any child in any village of India, what is Ram Rajya? He'll say good governance. So I did not reinvent the wheel. I just joined the dots. Similarly, you see, Lord Rama walked all the way to Lanka. And when he could not walk, he made the Setu.
Setu, yes.
But when he had to come back, he came through Pushpak Viman. Question is, what was the urgency? Some people say, oh, the 14 years were ending. Bharata would have committed suicide had he not come. But then he waited to crown Vibhishana, right?
Yes, yes.
Why did he wait to crown Vibhishana? Because good governance cannot wait. And then what was the urgency to return to Ayodhya? Because good governance cannot wait. And why good governance is important? So that the citizenry can achieve the 4 Purusharthas of Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha of human existence. What is Dharma? Dharma is not religion. Dharma is your duty in life. If you are a teacher, your dharma is to teach to the best of your limited ability. You may not be able to win an Olympic gold medal in 100-meter race, but at least run the 100-meter race to the best what your body can run. And then you have perfected your dharma. If you are a student, your dharma is to study. Your dharma is not to waste your time on social media or do protests. Your dharma is to study. Fulfill your dharma. If you are a Heartfulness volunteer, your dharma is to reach out to the 550,000 villages of India because you have been exposed to this practice. And artha, earning for your livelihood. Earning money is a positive thing. If India was called a Sone ki Chidiya, now we want India to be known as Sone ka Gid, Sone ka Eagle. You understanding?
Yes.
So that get more wealth and get more wealth for the country. Then your karma, whatever your desires on the human platform, it is natural to have desires. You can fulfill your desires if they're lawful. And then when you have experienced this, then self-actualization, aim for something higher, which is moksha. So the 4 Purusharthas can only occur because of good governance. And what Prime Minister Modi has done, he has ushered in good governance. And our inscription of Diwali is a divine signal in a way. And we got this inscription in Lal Killa, Red Fort, where the 1857 War of Independence was fought, where the 1945 trial of the officers of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Indian National Army took place, where the Prime Minister of India addresses the nation on every Independence Day on 15th August since 1947. And it is here, among the chants of Vande Mataram, dhol, nagadas and drums, we inscribe Deepavali as the intangible cultural heritage, not just of Indians, but of humanity. And we defined it as a festival of light, as a festival of good governance. This is the beauty.
So I wanted to ask you, Your Excellency, your stint at UNESCO as ambassador to UNESCO, it has exposed you to so much of Indian heritage as well. Was this, and you have so much knowledge of the Gita that day, you were talking about the Gita with such authority. Was this something that the exposure that you had right from childhood, or is it something that has come to you as you have taken on more responsibilities?
See, that's a very deep question. You know, I was always a student of physics and mathematics. But I think it's a memory of the soul that one cannot really define how things happen in life. All I had, because when I was reading physics in my school, you know, I read about Einstein and it attracted me. Then I read about the Big Bang, it attracted me. But then I thought, what beyond that? And I suddenly found myself as a school student. You know, I tell everybody the story about that sparrow. Do you think I should tell him the story about the sparrow in this interview?
Please, I would love to. Now you piqued my interest. I would love to know
So
this story.
it's like this, and you have to take yourself back. I think when I was 13 years old, to take yourself back into the mind of a 13-year-old kid. So I was asked to write an article in my school magazine, the Academy Boys Chronicle, ABC. So, the story goes like this. I'm a hunter, which means I'm seeking something. And I go hunting in a forest. And I find a wounded sparrow. I pick it in my hand and it starts to speak to me in a human voice. Now, for a 13-year-old kid, the world is magical.
Absolutely.
So please permit the sparrow to speak to me in a human voice. And sparrow asks me, who are you? And I say, I'm Vishal, because that's the identity given to me by my parents and human society. The sparrow says, and Vishal in Hindi means someone very large, big, grand in French, or Akbar in Arabic. So Vishal. I'm not a very tall man. And when I was 13 years old, I was even shorter. So the sparrow laughs. How can you be Vishal? You are so small. Who are you? So my personal identity was rejected. Up to that point in life, the question, who you are, was satisfied by the response of your name, Vishal. For the first time, the response did not satisfy the question. So if your personal identity is rejected, what do I do? So I took the identity of my species, Vishal, a human being. The sparrow asks me, what is a human being? The identity of my species rejected. Then what do? I took my planet's identity. I said, the most dominant species on planet Earth. The sparrow asked me, which Earth are you talking about? My planet's identity rejected. I said, what do you mean, which Earth? The third planet from the sun. Mercury, Venus, Earth. I took my star's identity. My star's identity was also rejected. Which sun are you talking about? I said, what do you mean which sun? Look at the nights, the day. Look at the afternoon sky. You cannot even look at it. That powerful, shining object is the sun. And do you know how Vishal it is? If you had all the planets of the solar system, and in 8th standard I had read about the 9 planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Pluto was still a planet at that point in time. Now they are confused about it.
He becomes a planet, then he becomes a meteor.
It's confused about, but that time it was a planet. 9 planets and all their satellites, the moon and the sun. You all mix it to make it one ball. And if that ball is 100 rupees, the sun alone is 99 rupees 87 paise. All the 9 planets and their moons together. And Jupiter and Saturn have more than 100 moons. Earth has only one moon. All those moons together, all the planets together constitute only 13 paise out of 100 rupees. And Jupiter is 1,200 times larger in volume than Earth. So even for its own space in 13 paise out of 100 rupees, what is Earth's position? Surely my sun is Vishal. The sparrow shows me the photo of the Milky Way galaxy and asks me to start counting. And I start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion, 100 billion dots, 10,000 crore dots. And every dot is a sun. She tells me, show me where your 99 rupees 87 paise sun is. Show me your Vishal sun.
It's not even in the center. It's nowhere near the center either. It's on.
I was lost. How is it possible? But I did not give up. I said, do you know the speed of light? Do this. Just do this. Hyderabad, New York, Hyderabad. light has gone and come 14 times. Do again. Hyderabad, New York, Hyderabad. Light has gone and come 14 times. This is the speed of light. And to go from Milky Way galaxy's left side to right side, at this speed, light takes 100,000 years. Surely, Milky Way galaxy is Vishal. This is what I tell the sparrow. The sparrow tells me, start count, shows me the photo of the known universe as seen from the Hubble Space Telescope.
A famous
Says,
image.
Start counting again. Last time I had counted 100 billion dots, 10,000 crore. This time I count 200 billion dots, 20,000 crore dots. But now, every dot is not a sun, it's a galaxy. My galactic identity rejected. She comes back to me and says, so who are you? So the journey to find an answer, I think, began after I learned physics. And I wrote that article in my 8th standard.
Wow. As a 13-year-old.
As a 13-year-old confused boy wanting to know.
Amazing.
And this is how the journey started. And then, as I went more into physics, I found there were no answers coming. Because beyond a point, physics has no answer.
Correct. Up to a certain point, it can explain everything. But beyond...
Up to Planck's time after the Big Bang. And Planck's time is 10 raised to the power of minus 43 seconds.
There's a famous saying, give us one free miracle and we'll explain the rest.
But we cannot even explain the free miracle.
Yeah, exactly.
So I found myself, and then I read about, I'm an Indian, so there is, but you die, you take a birth again, you die, or you go to moksha, and then, I said, then what? I found myself in a room of mirrors. Other than my own questions, there was no escape. So the whole universe was suffocating for me. The whole universe was suffocating for me. It was the need of the soul. And at that point, suddenly, somebody gave the Bhagavad Gita from ISKCON in my hand because it was in English. I had the Gita Press Bhagavad Gita, but it was in Sanskrit.
Yeah, the Gorakhpur Gita Press.
I didn't understand. The moment someone gave me the Bhagavad Gita of ISKCON made by Srila Prabhupada, and I started reading it, page 1, 2. Initially, Godhead, I didn't understand, but I started reading it, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, first verse, second verse, and then what Krishna says. Slowly, what he says, oh my God. The entire window opened up. And, what he says is phenomenal. Because Arjun was in a depressed state. And he raises Arjun to a world champion in that finite amount of talk that he has. And that really took me out of the room of mirrors. Like I was in an infinite loop and it took me tangential to it. I covered infinite questions. I covered infinite path. Imagine, it's such a contradiction. How can you cover a path that is infinite? But trust me, I did that. And that was the satisfaction of the soul. That's why I started our conversation with the memory of the soul. So, and when you have the satisfaction, this is it. This is what it is. So the ancient scriptures of India are magical. And then I gave an interpretation, in my graduation class in physics. I said, physics is the mathematical interpretation of Krishna's desires.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
It really is. It really is.
So this is how my journey started. And, and then I did my management program from IIM Calcutta. Then I worked with Prime Minister Modi when he was when Chief Minister in Gujarat. I worked with him closely. So that developed a work culture. And I realized that there are some saints also. There are some yogis in politics. There are some sadhus in politics. Everybody is not negative. There are some Mahatmas in politics. And it is my past birth good karma that I became associated with a saint like Modi ji. And when at a young age, so that the politics that is displayed in Bollywood is not the politics of Modi. The politics of Modi is a transformative politics. The politics of Modi is making India a superpower. And I'm very lucky, it is said that Durlab Traimai Vaityam Devanugraha Hetukam Manushutvam Mumushutvam Mahapurush Sanshray. Three things very difficult to achieve in a single birth. And if you get them, it's blessings. One is a human birth.
Absolutely.
Very difficult to achieve. That's what the Shastras say. Another is Manushutvam, Mumushutvam, desire for self-actualization. Someone may say moksha, someone may say nirvana. I say, for my humble self, let me not use big words, but try to understand myself better. Let me get myself out of the room of mirrors.
Because you could go through the entire life and not question anything at all and not want to know what it's about. And we all know people like that as well.
So, and the third is company of the great souls. So at a young age, I was influenced by the work culture of Modi ji and very closely worked with him. So I understood. It programmed my brain. Just by being near magnet, a piece of iron gets magnetized. Just being near fire, a kala koila shines bright. So the kala koila that I am, if I am shining, it is because I became close to the light, the fire of Modi. If a piece of iron like me is become a magnet, it's because I was closely in association with a super magnet like Modi. And similarly, you see, Daaji also is influencing so many people at a young age. So they are Mahatmas. And we are all in contact with a Mahatma.
Absolutely. And you see that with young people around Daaji as well. How they transform is like quite amazing. I mean, we have some of them in the room right now. I won't take their names to embarrass them. Ekta Ben's been hiding her face every time you've taken her names. But it does transform, and you're so right. So for youngsters, politics today is considered, there is the preconceived notion that it's a dirty game and it's not for us. What would you say to encourage youngsters that politics doesn't need to be a dirty game? It's a holy duty.
I think you have mentioned very wise words, holy duty. You should go into the meaning of the word politics. Where does the word originate from? It originates from, I think, two Greek words, polis and ethics. Polis means a city, like Acropolis, place of higher consciousness. Cosmopolis, having a very cosmogenic population. So a place where people of high ethics is politics. Today the meaning has been reversed, but the original meaning is that. And that is why we need a new generation of ethical people to take the lead and come in politics. And to contest elections in India is not very complicated if you don't know, if you know how to do it. There are three levels of government in India. The local self-government, which is the municipal corporation. You have the state assembly, which is the MLA. And above that is the parliament, which is the Lok Sabha. To be a councillor, a municipal councillor, at least in the city of Mumbai, you need 40,000. Your voters are around 40 to 45,000, which means 40 booths, which means you need 40 friends. Ali Baba had his 40 chor.
Yes.
You need to have your 40 friends. If you have 40 friends in life who are all living in that ward, municipal ward, each friend in one booth, and they are willing to work for you, which means coordinate with the 1,000 people and make teams in that booth, then you are a powerful political force in that municipal ward. So you have to start with making 40 friends. Each of those 40 friends have to make 40 friends. If you rise above that, and if you succeed, and if you even if you do not win, if you get a large number of votes, the next time a political party will take you in. And this is how you enter. If you rise above that, then you want to become an MLA. Under each MLA, there are 6 municipal wards. So 14 to 6 is 2,40,000, 2 lakhs to 2,40,000 voters, which means you need 240 or 240 friends. Previously, you needed 40 friends to be a municipal councillor. To be an MLA, you need 240 friends. And each of those friends have to have 40 friends. So if you have 240 friends, even if you call at 12 o'clock, they will come. And they'll campaign for you. You are a formidable force in the MLA constituency. Formidable force. And even if you contest as an independent and you get a large number of votes, in the next election, you can negotiate and enter a political party. If you rise above that, and there are 6 MLAs in a parliamentary constituencies, so around 1,000 or 12 to 15 lakh voters, so you can say about 240 multiplied by 6 would be around 1,500 booths. So you need 1,500 friends or 1,500 friends. So you start with 40 friends, go to 240 friends, and then make 1,500 friends. If you have 1,500 friends in a parliamentary constituency, and each of those 1,500 friends has 40 friends, then you are a powerful force in that parliamentary constituency, having 6 MLAs and 36 corporators.
Absolutely.
You are a powerful force, even if you do not win the elections. But if you get a substantial amount of votes, next elections, you are a hot cake for any political party. Now, this is what politics in India is. We don't have people coming into the politics. You can contest an election as an independent also. And prove yourself or negotiate yourself with a political party that you feel is doing good work for India.
Absolutely. And if you do good work, that step up to more friends is easy to do because you are doing good work. You from your 40 friends, you go to 240. I mean, I have a municipal ward member in my hometown of Nainital who formed a WhatsApp group. And now any issue anybody in the ward has, he is there to tackle that issue. I mean, my dog runs away and he is out there looking for my dog. It's to that level. And he's won the second election also. So this is how his thing is growing. And if you do good work, you will be given more responsibility.
You know, Rudy ji, when I entered the room and you introduced yourself to me as I'm Rudy, and I said, did you say Rudy or did you say Ruby? You know, the question you have asked me and the response that we have got, and then you told me about your friend, if youngsters get to hear about our conversation, you would be the ruby through which this political science will be shining. Now, if more and more youngsters who are trained in ethical life, they enter politics. And there are many youngsters, very noble-hearted youngsters, who
Absolutely.
are young IS officers,
well-intentioned
IS officers, well-intentioned IPS officers, young people in the foreign service, very talented. They all want to do good for the country. And if a team is made like that, if young people are coming in, I encourage all young people, please think about the country. And if you would like to come, then there are ways to enter politics. Please enter. Experience it. No one can stop this country from becoming a superpower, from becoming an economic superpower. We want the per capita income of every Indian to increase. We want every Indian to earn more money. We want the income of farmers to increase tremendously through, the OMG, the microgreens initiative being done here, the corporate entrepreneurship in farming. You can increase productivity. India has one of the most fertile lands. Our lands, we have 6 times more fertile land than China, although China is geographically larger. So corporate entrepreneurship in agriculture will transform, and we need youngsters to come there.
Absolutely.
We need youngsters to come become judges. We need youngsters who are very patriotic, ethical, enter the administrative services. And if there are young officers in the IS, IPS, I think Heartfulness should get them and make them meditate, spread this science, and step up and accelerate the nation building work. And institutes like Heartfulness are a national asset in that case. And I have met some youngsters here, and I'm very thrilled at the prospects. But you have to accelerate the process, because time and tide wait for no man or no woman.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. In conclusion, I would like to ask you, if that Sparrow, Your Excellency, was to ask you today, who are you? What would your reply be?
Well, it's mentioned on my Twitter handle, Vishal V Sharma 7. I encourage you to please follow me. And one of the lines mentioned there is servant of my people. So I have identified myself as servant of the people of India, because there's a desire in my heart to serve them. I want to see the per capita income. I want my people to become rich. I want my people to have better work culture than even the Japanese.
Wonderful.
I want my people in my country, young people in my country, to transform our politics, and make the Abhinav Bharat. Abhinav Bharat means new India. But we say make Abhinav Bharat, or a new Bharat. And I have great hope for the future. I have great hope in the youth, because the youth can do a better job than perhaps the generation behind me or my generation has not been able to do.
Absolutely. And there's great hope in the youth. I mean, I feel the generation that comes forward is always an improvement on the previous generation. So I think we'll be in good hands. Thank you so much for taking out time, Your Excellency. It's been wonderful. It's been inspiring. And I hope this message reaches the hearts that it's meant to and transforms the hearts that it's ment to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rubyji. It's been a great pleasure, Rudyji, to have interacted with you. And I would love to hear this interview, because I think some very good points were raised. I think the conversation has brought out some very nice facts, very nice, very deep thought. You have been instrumental in that.
No, sir, we've been fortunate to get it from you, and we are extremely fortunate to have you here. And I hope to keep having you again and again in Kanha, and do keep visiting. And it will be wonderful to take this further. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of KanaCast. Do subscribe to KanaCast on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. Until the next episode, from the entire KanaCast team, namaste and goodbye.